my teacher friends? Up my sleeve for this video, we got a little bit of gamification and edutainment to add a little bit of a spin on how I like to prepare my kids for multiple choice portions of exams, whether it be AP Language, AP Lit. I'm in New York State, so we got the dreaded Regents exam. And in this video, we are going to play a game of smartass. So before I jump in and explain all the nuance and variables to this activity, let me first say this. Please subscribe to the new channel. It's called Kristian Kuhn, the Bob Ross of Composition. Spread the good word far and wide to your friends, colleagues, students. I am growing this channel exponentially. It's kind of blown up quick, and that tickles me. So let me explain why I do edutainment and gamification. Here's what I've observed in my 20+ year career. Skilling and drilling is, in a sense, an act of futility. Oftentimes in Facebook groups, I see teachers say, dang, the College Board has only released X amount of multiple choice exams. I need more content. I need to do more multiple choice practice with my kids. And here's where I have a contention with that. I really think that we first need to teach kids how to read and how to question a text before we continually throw them multiple choice test taking strategies. So above and beyond knowing how to do process of elimination and things of that nature, kids need to know how to read. So let me talk about that for a second. One of my strategies is this. I explicitly unpack some of the strategies and read like a professor, even in my AP language class. So a lot of the question constructs that I'm going to ask in this gamified version of smartass are closely akin to the verbiage and parlance that you see in read like a professor. So in terms of gameplay, we follow the original rules of smartass. And what I do is I just lay out the board game, and in my room I have an Elmo device. So I can project the board game right on the overhead so that all the kids in the peanut gallery can see the actual game. And what I've done for this particular lesson is I have 3 speeches that I've asked questions to. And I'm going to model how to do this with What to the American Slave is Your 4th of July by Frederick Douglass. And then you can download the slides for this Frederick Douglass piece, but I also have an MLK speech and something by Cal Ripken Jr. as well. So let me explain the game real quick. So in the game, you have where am I questions, what am I questions, how am I questions, and then the hard ass questions. So I'll go through how I cloak my language for these particular categories. So here is question number 1. It's a where am I question. This speech is delivered on the 4th of July. Explain the irony in this. All right. So I always go in terms of like techniques, devices, theory with my questions, real nuanced, complicated questions. So authorial intent, construction of meaning. My second where am I question is this. There's a clear dichotomy between African Americans and whites in this speech. Get your nose in the text. Based on the diction, what is Douglass's attitude toward whites? So again, I'm asking questions that are germane to the multiple choice type questions that the College Board asks. The Regents exam also asks questions like this. A lot of authorial intent, construction of meaning, but getting into the terms of the devices, the techniques. Let's skip ahead to the what am I question. Here's number 1. Douglass stacks 4 consecutive rhetorical questions in the first and second paragraph. Great observation. So what? So we're getting into sentence patterning, syntax, sentence types, and also when you look at sentence patterns like that, you also unpack the tone because those patterns create a tone. So it begins to, the students begin to see how everything is interconnected and interrelated. The second what am I question is this. The third sentence in the second paragraph is a run-on. What is the rhetorical purpose of this, and what is the name of this rhetorical feature? So you can see here, heavy on the theory, the technique, the devices, construction of meaning, authorial intent, which is basically what the College Board does for their multiple choice questions that ask kids to perform rhetorical analysis. The who am I question. With regards to the second paragraph, Douglas uses a lot of adjectives to describe his impression of America. Identify the tone using 2 tier 2 level vocabulary words. So I often teach my students that tone's not monolithic. There's more sides to the rock than just one tone, and there are shifts in here. So I want my students to be able to identify the shifts, but also I ask a lot of questions that get kids anchored in parts of speech. Real tight syntactical diction analysis with my questions. The second who am I question. In the concluding paragraph, Douglas juxtaposes America to South America and the Old World. What is the purpose in doing so? So invariably, if this is a text on an AP exam, they're going to get to questions of that nature. And if they are to perform rhetorical analysis of this passage, say for an FRQ2, they have to arrive at all those things as they ascertain the meaning. Now I got some hard-ass questions. I got 2 of them. I spy with my little eye that the last paragraph is one long run-on sentence. So lots of syntax questions for this particular speech. Great observations, so what? And I often say that. Great observations, so what? Because the kids are able to make the observation, but they don't get to the intent. They don't get to the universal truthiness of it. What do we call this in rhetoric? So also to identify the term, the device, the technique. And my last question is this. There are 2 distinct tone shifts in this speech. Referring to the text directly, identify each instance and use a few tier 2 level words to describe the tones. And that's it for the Frederick Douglass speech. So as I alluded to earlier, I have an MLK speech, and it's There Comes a Time, and I did the exact same question formatting for the smartass game for There Comes a Time, and I also did Upon Breaking the Streak by Cal Ripken Jr. If you would like to download the questions for Douglas, MLK, and Cal Ripken, in the description of this video, you can find the links and you can download my PowerPoint so that you can play this game with your students and give kind of an edutainment gamification approach to improving their reading abilities. All right, I'm out of here. Some of you know I'm a lead teacher for the National Writing Project, and I also present for NCTE and the College Board occasionally. To see my comings and goings, I have a calendar at teachingwritingcoach.com. We offer PDs throughout the calendar and academic year. Some are free, some are for a nominal fee, so you can check that out at my website. If you need to drop me a line, my email is teachingwritingcoach@gmail.com, and tell your students that I have a tutoring company that I call Write at Ivy Write. I'm expert on the college personal statements. If they need help with that, I can get them over the hump to do their supplements and their personal statement. And I've also been teaching Lang and Lit for over 2 decades. So if students need some fine tuning before the exam or some tutoring, have them drop me an email and we can talk specifics. All right, that's it for the smartass version of multiple choice test prep. I'm out of here. Take care.